Hi, John. Okay, I'll take debate because it provides me an oblique way into an issue um, that I have some thoughts on, but I don't really want to get involved in certain aspects of the issue because really I don't like making, even if I have a statement, I like to be open to people's feedback. It doesn't have to be that I think my mind could be changed, but it has to be that, well, if somebody gives me feedback, I'll give them feedback on their feedback. And if I know ahead of time I probably don't feel like doing that, then I just don't make the statement. But you provide an oblique way in to make a few comments on this issue, and I'm gonna take you at face value as well, because you have to do one or the other. Not that I believe your message is entirely as it appears, but first the face value part. Now you are saying you're forgiving him, which to me, who cares? Because to me, that I didn't say nobody cares. Two people care, you and him. And if you guys hang out and have a beer and now everything's not good and you want to get back together, then you could unilaterally forgive somebody. It might matter to you too. If it's nothing like that, and we're actually talking about the context of YouTube, where we discuss ideas back and forth, forgiveness has nothing to do with it. I mean, the videos, and this goes for deleted videos too, but the videos, they are out there, they speak for themselves, they add information, no apology or forgiveness or anything like that is going to change that information. Sure, it'll add some more information, but it's information about your personal relationship. Oh, they patched it up. It might be interesting to me. I'm not saying there's no interest in that sort of thing, depending on the individuals, to some other particular individual. But it's not a part of the argument. It's a side thing, right? So the main issue with the claw hammer thing is it reinforces an assessment I've had and kept to myself, because I'm just not really that interested in debating this. This is, as far as I'm concerned, a beginner's issue. Dealing with that, and there's beginners out there, so by all means, very blessed. Go about your thing if you want to, but I mean, expressing and having even that kind of a violent fantasy, or even if it was just a show, violent rhetoric, like nervous laughter, that shows that this shows that Very Blast is not the person that would rehabilitate a word like nigger. That word is laden with violent history. It still can incite violence. That's just the history of that word. That's just the practicality. It's possible to rehabilitate words. But if you're going to rehabilitate a word like that, you couldn't be that violent of a mentality and say, well, but I'm peaceful, I don't act on it. Great. Well, if people that act on that stuff, they need to go to jail and prison. You don't actually act on it, you don't need to go to prison. But it's like, don't be my friend, don't try to rehabilitate violent words. Someone like Gandhi would have to rehabilitate that word to do it well, and I doubt that he would bother. It's far more likely that the word is offensive, and that for someone that wants to take at some level a timid, in your face, intellectually challenge you, but timid, like, hey, I'm not actually hurting anybody, kind of a stance, this is a word that they can still be offensive. For all I know, this word was chosen because it brings with it violent imagery. So he could say, hey, I'm trying to make the world a better place and non-violent, and he can actually still bring along the violent imagery and be wielding that around. And that's what a video like his video on the claw hammer shows, is that This is somebody that uses conceptual violence in his thinking process. Is the last person to rehabilitate a term like this. And your forgiveness is between you and him. I said I take it as a sincere, straightforward thing. So, okay, so let's say you really are forgiving him. Good for you, and that's in your heart. And you just put a poem online. Great, no problem with that. On the other hand, so what? It doesn't matter to anything going on in the intellectual part of this debate. Okay, it's a backstory. And I honestly mean, fine, I think there should be backstory here. Backstory helps fill things out. Yes, this indirectly helps the debating. But if you get what I'm saying, it's the same whole thing. This emotionalism, it's like, people are emotional, but we're doing an intellectual thing. I have most respect for people that are emotionally strong about this stuff. And there's a lot of interesting examples and ironic examples of this. Mills' basket case, she talks about her mental affliction. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's strong-willed in this sense that I'm talking about. She knows who she is. She can say it. She can be straightforward, right? She's not putting up a big front. So it's not a judgment of every aspect or saying someone's perfect or that it's quite the opposite. It's like nobody's perfect, and the people that admit it and go forward and that. So what are you dealing with variabilized? I think it's pointless. If I were to get involved in this thing between you and him, it's like, no, I don't think you should forgive him. Forgiving someone, what purpose? There has to be a purpose, like I said, well, actually, he's my long-lost brother, and I don't want to ruin the whole relationship. Fine. And if you don't have a reason like that, you're not doing a favor to anybody, tolerating that sort of rhetoric from somebody that wants to take and play around with terms that incite that kind of thinking in a lot of people. You should think about that. There's a lot of timid little people out there trying to incite the next, Armageddon war, which they plan to watch.